Hi, my name is Dave Sambor, and here's the story of my health architect. First thing we're going to answer is why, what, and how. Why would someone in their mid 50s with a successful business decide to close that business and start something new? What is it, and how could it serve you? So first, to start with who I am. Again, my name is Dave Sambor. I've been married to my wife for 30 years now, Leslie, and been raising my family here in Hinckley, Ohio. My oldest son, Jonathan, my daughter, Jessica, and my youngest son, Jason. And throughout all these years living out here, I really have felt called to serve, and I've done that in many different capacities. One is just heavily involved with the Highland community. Been also a Scout Master of a Boy Scout troop for a number of years. Was a elected public official, which had a chance to kind of don't take on the firefighter gear for a demo. I was not a firefighter, but heavily involved as a trustee of a township for 8 years. I also spent time, many years, as a youth football coach, a health coach for over a decade, and currently, and it's still heavily involved in rugby. Currently, the head coach of the girls rugby team here. So outside of everything I've been called to do, I've had my career running alongside that, and that is as a registered architect. And for over half of those years, I've owned my own firm. And now, to this point in my life, my calling and my career have been two separate things. Where I've been called to serve and what I've done for a living have been two separate things. But now, my health architect is my opportunity to really make my calling my career. So, let's talk a little bit more about architecture, where in architecture, really my job was to help people clarify their vision, develop the plan, and then to guide them during that building process. This is the process that works very well in the architecture arena. It's really what's required for every successful project. And so I also started to look at, well, why success in these other areas of life. So in all the areas and organizations I've been involved in, I started to look at where do they struggle and where did they succeed, and was there a pattern? And as I would determine, architectural success process isn't just an architectural success process. That same success process is what's needed in every area of your life. So the problem with that is some people are going to figure that out, usually through a lot of trial and error throughout life. But unfortunately, many people are going to struggle with this year after year because this process of design, a process of solving problems, the process of how to work through adversity is not something we're taught. So that step one I mentioned before is clear the confusion. Get that clear vision, clear the confusion. So why is there so much confusion? Well, one, I think we all can agree we are completely overwhelmed with information. There is no more news channel. It is 24/7, 365, information, information, information. A lot of it is opinion. A lot of it isn't facts. But again, we are inundated as we scroll through Facebook, search the web. We find ourselves down so many rabbit holes. There are unlimited choices, and actually sorting through all this stuff is very confusing. So what I decided to do is I decided to close my architecture firm and then launch My Health Architect with a mission to help people clear the confusion. So now the question is, where is that confusion and where's the need for this? Well, unfortunately, many people don't realize they need something until it's too late. So there's an old adage that I really love. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So decide to focus in on three key areas here where there is a need: Medicare, equity protection, and foundational life skills. So let's first take a look at why Medicare. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the number one cause of bankruptcy for people over the age of 65? Well, you might be surprised to hear it's bills, more specifically medical bills. And really, there's two main reasons for this because people over 65 are on Medicare. Uh, Usually it's because one of two things. One, they've made the wrong first choice. When they first sign up for Medicare, they maybe chose the wrong path. And if they make that wrong decision there, it could have long-term big financial consequences for that. And we find is a lot of people may know kind of what the options are, but not really understand the long-term ramifications of those. The second problem is that during their annual review, so if someone is on Medicare, the plans can be reviewed again every year. And so between October 15th and December 7th,
they can sign up and kind of switch plans and make sure that they're in the right plan and make any adjustments during that time frame. So the key right here is how do you avoid these two main problems? Well, one is you work with a trusted independent agent, someone who's not bound to one company, someone who can truly look at your situation, explain the options, and offer multiple solutions. So beyond that initial time, if you currently are on Medicare and you do not have a trusted independent agent you're working with, that's where I can help you with that. I do represent not all the companies, but many of the companies in these local areas. I'm licensed in Ohio and North Carolina currently, but my really job is to help you understand what your options are, understand what your risk potential is, and make sure you can make an informed choice about what's right for you. Now, why equity protection? And I'm going to go back to the adage we said before, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that go through this and realize they're in that second category, or sorry, the first, uh, second, sorry, then needing it and not having it. And we all aware when tragedy strikes our community, where we hear about uh, an illness that was unforeseen, someone with a terminal illness, or we hear of a premature death. And communities are very good about stepping up and really helping and supporting the family the best they can that short term. But the reality of the situation is this usually results in lost income, major medical bills, and even the people that do have some protection in this category, most of them do not have sufficient financial plan, sufficient financial things in place to protect them from losing their home. And so what I look to do is review with them what their options are. So again, reviewing with a trusted independent agent, an agent that's not bound to a particular plan or program that can really get into ask you the tough questions, go through the process with you, and get to the point of you're comfortable with your situation and what the ramifications would be if that income was lost. The next, why foundational life skills? So here's two statements I really believe in. We are taught that we can design our own lives. We hear that our whole lives. Hey, there's no limits. Design your own life. But the problem is we're not taught the design process. And really, where is this big need is unfortunately, we are facing a mental health crisis. And there's a lot of alarming stats I'm going to share with you here regarding kind of our teens from, say, 15 to 25. And the first is 40% of high school students report feeling hopelessness in the past year. 57% is for females. When you go to college, it doesn't look that good either. 30% of college students are diagnosed with anxiety, while 30% with depression. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in young adults. 22% of students, high school students, report considering suicide in the past year, and 42% of young adults believe more mental health services are needed. So again, looking for more support. They know there's a crisis. Young adults realize that, and more support is needed. So now, if someone does have a major concern, if or if there's someone you know of that is really dealing with these issues we've talked about, for serious concerns, there's a hotline number at 988. That's the Suicide and Crisis Hotline. Others should really be looking at considering professional therapists. Really, if there's no major concerns, that's what we're here for. We offer more of a proactive approach. In other words, how do we help build the skills to potentially avoid these major concerns down the road? And a couple of different ways we do that. One is really about navigating, right? Because especially young adults, yeah, and even some of us as we get older, we're thinking about the same thing. Who understanding who you are and who you want to be. We always are reinventing ourselves, right? But sometimes those first steps are the hardest ones. What do you want to do? But maybe more importantly, how do you want your life to look? It's not all about what you do, it's about what is your life looking like. And these are tough things to navigate, especially with the complexities of all the information, a lot of it conflicting being thrown at us every single day. And another big one, which I think is really the root of most problems, is how you deal with adversity. You know, the coping skills, the methodology, the mental preparedness to how to deal with adverse conditions is a key to really living the life we desired. So, where did this course come from? This course has come from my experience with dealing with being in youth leadership for decades now, between scouts and coaching, and a lot of different ventures in my life. The next is all my life experiences, and I'm involved in various activities, various groups, various types of careers and backgrounds, which really give me a good perspective across a lot of areas. And the third is basically the wisdom I've learned from investing hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars working with mentors and programs that help in this capacity. This all combined with my 30 years as an architect, really understanding what it takes to design a successful project. And how is this course made up? Well, it's really based on three different pieces. One is offering workshops that really kind of give an introductory to a lot of these principles along the way. We will have a virtual course offering. And then also for those really looking to get more in depth, we're going to be offering one-on-one mentorship. So, what's next? And so, what's next is really to take advantage of a lot of the free content we're going to be providing. And these are all focused on providing clarity to the confusion. So, follow us on the Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, where we're going to focus on these three areas we already discussed: Medicare, equity protection, and foundational life skills. But we're also going to add in one more area, which is faith. And this is, again, something that you may or may not be looking for this, but again, it's something that's very important to me. And one of the reasons is really in 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. I'm a true believer that we all have different strengths. We all have gifts, and those gifts are not just for us. Those gifts are designed as a way for us to go ahead and bless others and serve others with that. And then finally, with all this, free consultation to discuss your specific needs. It's something that, again, if you are seeing one of these areas I've listed above where you're saying, you know what, I really do need it, I really am confused in this area, or I know someone who's confused in this area, reach out. I'm happy to kind of schedule a time where we're going to have a free consultation to discuss what those needs are. So, with that, thank you for your time, but just want to give you a little background about My Health Architect. The focus is really to help you clear the confusion.